The public art programme is divided into 4 strands. The first strand is intended to reflect the status of Dublin as an international city and capital of Ireland, and that's going to focus on commissioning one major artwork in one art form per year. And it's intended that the first year of this commissioning strand will focus on literature, which makes sense in terms of the designation of Dublin as UNESCO City of Literature and obviously its long tradition. The second strand is the open submission strand, and that's really focused on all art forms, all types of art making, and is a pretty open process. And the idea there is to really seek interesting ideas and interesting ways of responding to Dublin as a context and as a place to work in. And artists basically are very simply are invited to respond and address a community or a locality or an area of Dublin, and to make artwork which reflects upon this and responds to the city, but also interacts in some way with Dublin City Council, and obviously interacts with the public in another way. It sounds like a kind of closed commissioning brief, but in fact it's very, very open. The idea of engaging with the City Council is because the funding is related to City Council funding, but when you think about what the City Council does, it's so open, it's so enormous, in fact, that I couldn't possibly even start listing the services and the work and how you contact, and without even noticing, make contact with the city every day. And as I described to people, from the moment you get up in the morning and turn on the tap, you're interacting with Dublin City Council. The third strand is about the mediation, interpretation, presentation of the city programme, Dublin City Public Art Programme, and that really is going to have some element of a call for submissions, and it's about promoting the public art programme as a whole. It's about promoting and dialoguing and mediating with some of the commissions, and also inviting people to propose things that would be relevant in terms of public engagement relating to public art. And then the fourth strand is specifically called City Contexts, and the reason for that is that there are occasions and times when the City Council will want to undertake commissions that relate to a very, very specific context or a specific location. And as for example, at the moment we're in partnership with the National Transport Authority and with our 3 local authority neighbours, Dublin City Council, therefore we put that in under strand 4. In designing the Dublin City Public Art Programme, we've been very, very anxious to address all art forms and really embrace the Percent for Art scheme and public art in its wider context. And as part of that process, as well as designing the brief, and in particular the brief for the Strand 2, the open submission section of the Public Art Programme, I've taken part in consultation and in development days with a range of art forms, including dance, drama, literature, music, collaborative practice with architecture and film to come, and visual arts are obviously well taken care of. And within that context, the idea was that I think the visual arts have had a head start. Well, we know that through a timeline they've had a head start in the public art arena. But on top of that, and it's becoming more and more clear to me, is that visual arts as a practice, and also I think as an undergraduate and as a postgraduate subject in college, they are so schooled into self-initiating projects, into making proposals, writing artist statement, that really other art forms possibly haven't had that basis from which to work. So part of the development days was, as I say, to promote the art forms, but there was equal part of the days was the idea of me, hopefully and bravely, presenting my public art programme for them to test out and for me to see would there be a good response. And I'm pleased to say that, with all the art forms I've already had my days with, that they've been very, very positive. One of the very exciting aspects of developing a programme, one of the very challenging aspects as well, has been the idea of how do I make this programme relevant and significant within a major city, but also within a city council that employs 6,500 at the moment or thereabouts, with services ranging from water to social services, fire service, etc. Anyway, it is enormous, and I wanted to come up with a programme that very, very much engaged with the City Council, and that gave opportunities for my colleagues in the City Council to respond and to work with artists as part of this programme. Hopefully the brief has been wide enough to allow a really broad range of interesting ideas to come forth. And if there's anything that I've wished for out of this, is that there'll be a surprise at every turn as I open up proposals and submissions for the public art programme. I do believe that there is so much talent out there at home as well as abroad, and that all we can hope for is a great response, and that Dublin City is a good context in which to make those proposals.